Electronics have changed the lifestyle of the world and are being used in each and every device. From a small toy to the industrial equipment, everything consists of various electronic components. In today's video, we will drown into various and imperative components using in our daily life. Assalamu alaikum, I am Engineer Muhammad Arfa Asif and welcome to the studio, my academic studio. Circuit board is known as complete collection of components, and these components have changed the method we live and the method we use this technology. By pushing electronic components into the holes, we call it a breadboard. A plastic board with a bunch of tiny holes in it. These holes let you easily insert electronic components to make a prototype, or you can say an early version of electronic project. These are the holes connected in a row, and these are connected in a column. Like 5 holes on each column connected vertically. You can peel off its back sticker sheet and paste it on any place to remain in contact with the surface. This one is a smaller kiddie cute board that I personally use for my mini projects. This one is the same copy of that breadboard, which is just smaller in size. Nothing much more different. Digital multimeter is one of the important components that every user must own. You can calculate currents, resistances, voltage continuity of devices and vice versa. It consists of a 9-volt battery inside. You can easily change this battery by opening up the screws on its back. So far, it has a great durability, a good light display resolution and far more accuracy than analog meters. A 2-terminal electronic component that only conducts current in one direction. As the name suggests, diode is a comprehension of di means 2 and ode means electrode. A 2-electrode device in which this white strip is taken as cathode, a negative terminal, and an anode, a positive terminal. In circuitry designs, it can be used for the conversion of AC power to DC. Well, it doesn't allow current to flow backward. In UPS inverters, diode plays a vital role in power conversion. While another type of the special diode is Zener diode is used in voltage regulators or stabilizers, which provides a constant voltage to the load from a source. Like when your lights get dim, this simple device plays a vital role in controlling the voltages and prevent any damage on your home appliances. Light emitting diode, that is one of the perfect output source in designing projects. Like so far you have seen a mini bulb blinking on the toys, remote controls, computer laptops, chargers, etc. It's a good indication for checking your device. Basically it consists of 2 legs. Visually one is smaller and one is longer. The longer one is taken as positive and shorter one is the negative. If you don't know how to visualize these terminals, just have a look on inside the bulb. Here you will see a flat metal part and a spiky metal part. The flat one is taken as negative and the spiky one is taken as positive. These LEDs in Pakistan are made in nanoscales now with different organic materials. So these LEDs packed in different colors like red, blue, and the one is a crystal LED. It has like more illuminating power. These are the push buttons so that you can take a overall control of your circuitry with your hands. This one is a dip 8-way switch that controls 8 different parts flowing over the circuits. Internally they are connected as this way. In this push button you can simply short these 2 pins and make these 2 open, as it doesn't require any attention to the user. And this button is simple and on off switch, opens and closes the current path with a single push. Resistors have a great ability to oppose the electric current. It has a great ability to flow current according to the user's own choice. You can consider a water tap that controls the flow of water. How much you need that water, that all controls that water tap, which in this case is scenario of current and a resistor. Basically it comes with different values and follows a specific color codes. These color code defines the resistance values. Like in this scenario I have mentioned a sheet. Try finding the value of this resistor, which is we can see 510 ohm with 1% tolerance. It is a potentiometer that performs as a regulator. You can rotate this slider and the output will get varied. Like in the ceiling fan, a regulator is used with your home appliances. This one is a basic part of that regulator. Similarly, it comes with different variants for small purpose or either for a large scale circuitry. Your circuitry depends what it actually requires. Let's talk about LDR, light dependent resistor. This one is sensitive to the photons of light. It changes with the light intensity that falls upon. This fluctuation in light allows them to be used in light sensing circuits. Consider a street light is automatically off and there is no one available to switch off the lights. Using this LDR will sense the darkness and make the lights automatically off. Capacitors are the major components of every circuit designing, as it has an ability to store excessive charges and blow it out after a certain amount of time. Inside this electrolytic capacitor device, it consists of a metal plate separated by a dielectric material. When come to power, it accumulates an electric charge. Capacitors come with a variety of models, polar and non-polar. This one is a polar as it has a positive and negative legs, same as LEDs. If you can't visualize the legs of this capacitor, try finding this strip on every capacitor and the adjacent leg connecting to it is a negative one. This white strip with this leg is a negative terminal. Non-polar capacitor provides coupling in circuits as it has some leakage from its dielectric material and it can't store charge properly. So if you want to test a non-polar capacitor, there must be no reading shown in multimeter. However, ideal capacitor has no polarity. In order to obtain large storage capacity, some special materials and structures are used. Both inductors and capacitors stores electrical charge. This device is capable of storing electrical energy in the form of magnetic energy. Being able to store energy and quickly release it is a very imperative feature. This is a coil in which electricity flows from the left to right. This will generate a magnetic field and this magnetic field is pushing current into the circuit even after it is disconnected. Meaning that inductor has some sort of energy stored in the form of magnetic field. Inductors come with different models but perform with the same principles of magnetic field. In off switching mode, inductor supplies energy to the circuit to keep current flowing. In this inductor, same coil is present inside and making energy storage principle to happen. Transistor is an important part of this electronic era. The transistor I am showing you is a 3-terminal device, a base, emitter and a collector. This can perform as a switch or as an amplifier. If we say as amplifier, we can conclude this is a current booster that can take lowest current at its input and higher current at its output. Let's take an example for a second. If I give a current to its base that is approx some 100 micro, then we can achieve approx 100 milliamps of current at its output. If we say as a switch, a tiny electric current flowing through the one part of a transistor can make a much bigger current flowing through the another part. In other words, the small current switches on a larger one. This is essentially how all the computer chips work. As with the advent of time, these old transistors are now functioning in nanoscales. A memory chip contains hundreds of millions or even billions of transistors. Next come a much more important and exceptional device in which whole electronic industry is wearing: integrated circuits. These ICs are much more than a big computers. All of the processing mathematical calculations packaged in a single device. You can program it and control your electronic equipment with your own desired choice. Likewise, in computers, different architectures are introduced. Similarly, it comes with different types of architectures like ARM, AVR, PIC, etc. This one is a type of the Atmel AVR microcontroller. Depending upon the size, these pins may vary from SMT or through-hole technology, etc. To program this microcontroller, user has to have a program burner that can install and manipulate multiple functionalities. This is a microprocessor. You will notice small tiny little hertz acting as an ICs. Well, that are not ICs. These are actually transistors interconnected with each other performing their duties in different departments. The question is, how much transistors? Well, you can think billions of transistors are packaged on this nanoscale technology. Yes, this is the one example here. This one is a LED matrix display in which small LED or illuminating diodes are connected in a row and column wise pattern. They are specially used in billboards on roadsides, displaying information and clocks, etc. Rows and columns are identified by a specific datasheet. If you want to check the row and column pattern, we can simply take a multimeter, roll the dial on the continuity and connect one pin of the positive lead of multimeter and other pin to negative lead of multimeter. Repeat this process to identify the arrangements of LEDs connected inside. Same is the case, it is pretty much a copy of LED matrix, but the difference is its body and shape. There are basically two types of LED 7 segment display called common cathode and common anode. In this common cathode mode, all the negative leads are connected inside are common to single ground point or neutral. In common anode mode, all the positive leads are connected inside and are common to single positive point. Like an LED has two legs, positive and negative. In common cathode, negative LEDs are common or merged to a single point. In common anode, positive LEDs are common or merged to a single point. I hope it's clear now. One of my personally favorite component is a relay, a switching device that can change the current path to another by simply giving a small amount of DC current. Well, basically inside this device it consists of a small coil that is an inductor. When applying small current, coil gets heated. This heated coil trips the connection and current changes its path. Likewise in ovens it automatically turns off. Likewise in temperature controller, reaching some specific threshold, current generates, coil gets heated and it breaks the current path or change the current path. With the specs mentioned, you can control your home appliances with remote controls and many more. This is the L298N module, that is a package of components through which you can control DC motors in your robotic projects. The IC consists of a transistors that acting as an amplifier to give optimized performance. You can interact with this device using microcontroller and make a desirable functional DC motor project easily. This module consists of an SD card slot in which you can add or display or modify its use. We will see later in this channel. Basically this module has SPI serial peripheral interface which is compatible with any SD card, and it uses 5 volt or 3.3 volt power supply which is compatible with Arduino Uno programmer. This module has a variety of wireless functions, a basic Bluetooth module that is wirelessly interact with the user to enhance their projects without any wired connections. Simply prepare the connections, build a circuitry, connect it with your phone and control your home appliances, laptops, TV monitors or cameras. IR sensor module, which is named as infrared sensor, it has an ability to sense any object passing by and generates a signal. You can use it as an alarm to avoid any objects, opening of a barrier if a car comes out, closing of gates when leaving your house and many more. This is an IR receiver. You can connect this device with your circuitry and control it with IR transmitter that is used in remote controls. Ultrasonic sensor module, whose pins names are VCC, trigger, echo and ground mentioned. We call it a distance sensor, and this sensor is very popular in many applications where measuring a distance or sensing objects are required. The module has two eyes like projectors in the front which perform the ultrasonic transceiving of signals. These are the one through which we can communicate with the electronics wirelessly, a transmitter and a receiver. The transmitter is the one with the oscillator that oscillates specific radio frequency and sends data to the receiver through this RF antenna. Another receiver receives that data and processed in your serial monitor further. This pair must be remained same. If one transmitter is from third party and another is the RF receiver from fourth party, then both will not be able to communicate with each other. Major component in AC appliances is the transformer that can be used either to increase the voltage, which is known as step up, or they can decrease the voltage known as stepping down. You can see the lead, that is a phase wire and a neutral. Basic principle of transformer is a mutual induction. On this principle, 220 volts are converted to either 110 volts or 110 volts are converted to 220 volts. On the other hand, you will see a small circuitry consisting of diodes and capacitors. This circuitry is actually a rectifier that will produce a 9 to 12 volts of unregulated output. These are the DC motors with a wheel that specifically used for robotic projects. Talking about stock, then with my personal experience, I would say these motors are quite sensitive and not recommended for major final year project. Inside you will see a gearbox that can increase the power of the motor and rotate smoothly. If we talk about batteries, these one are the pair of 8 interconnected parallel 1.2 volt cells. A good backup time with 2700 mAh drainage. I recommend these batteries have good charge cycle time and perfect performance on even robotic projects. Apart from it, this one is a chameleon rechargeable 9V battery. For a testing purpose, it would be a good option. Thank you listeners, that's all for today. I hope you liked these instructions. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, like, comment, share and be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Fi amanallah, goodbye.